Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Bunch Nuts podcast. This is Dan. I'm here with Big Cass. Big Cass, my guy. It's just good because football's back, man. It's for those who aren't aware, Hall of Fame game was last Thursday.
Oh, this Cassiter household was very well aware that Cade Stover was playing.
He had a couple catches, dude. He looked good.
Yeah, tell me about it. I've been hearing it for a week from my wife. So- but yeah, I mean, it's good to see Cade out there doing his thing. I think ultimately he's going to make the team. And
Oh, 100%.
with a lot of teams using 2, 3 tight end sets, I think, and CJ, that being CJ Stroud's guy, they even talked about it on the broadcast. He's going to do good things in Houston. And I think Houston's going to be lethal um, this year for the Texans. I mean, say what you want out of the Hall of Fame game, but I just I know the Bears technically won, but
I don't know. I don't know if we can count this as a real season now, Cass, because explain this to me. Because last year, this isn't about the Hall of Fame game, but last year they canceled. Like the last year, the lights went out at the Hall of Fame game when the Jets are playing in the fourth quarter, and they resumed play. Like it was like a 15-20 minute delay. They resumed play. And then this year there's thunderstorms, and they just canceled it. It makes no sense. How can this stand?
I I look at the Hall of Fame game and it's like, yeah, it's fun to have, but it's in reality it's second and third stringers versus second and third stringers. Like nobody, no starter ever plays until like the second game of the preseason. And for the Texans and Bears, they have 4 preseason games this year. So I kind of see where the Bears and Texans were like, okay, let's just call this.
Yeah, I mean, I can understand it, but it's the Hall of Fame game. It's for the
Yeah.
people. I'm just happy Devin Hester obviously got elected. That was a big one for me. I thought that he should have been a shoe-in first ballot. I don't know why he wasn't. I'm glad he is. But Cass, you were actually at fall camp this week for the Buckeyes. You made an appearance, I believe it was Friday.
Yeah.
Um,
Left
I,
before all the little kid before practice ended. Wanted to have the little kids have their moments. There was a ton of little kids, and
oh yeah.
rightfully so. I was there to watch practice. I wasn't there to, get autographs, get pictures. I know I've posted a lot of pictures with players before, but I really wanted to see what this team was going to be like. And
Did. I feel like too. There's been people have just been taking nonstop videos of practice. You took like 3 or 4. Like you were.
I got yelled at.
I know.
But like Saturday, people were there and they're taking all kinds of photos, and even like
I
the
think
podcast
I
guys
think they're
got
on
yelled at.
guard, and I get it. Like they gotta be on guard because like Michigan, you don't know what they're up to. So like it makes sense. So, but what were your takeaways? I mean, what did you think of everyone?
So I really got up close and personal with the where I was standing with the tight ends and the offensive linemen. And I'm going to tell you one thing: this offensive line is going to be very, very good. Now they do lack depth at tackle, which kind of concerns me. I think that's why there's a lot of focus with David Sanders because after both Josh and Josh leave this year, it's a huge question mark who's going to play tackle. However, the inside of the line is going to be very, very good. Tager Shabola, Carson Hensman, Seth McLaughlin, Donovan Jackson, Austin Sarafeld. Um, those guys are. I mean, Luke Montgomery, and those guys are going to be monsters. I didn't really see much of the Armstrong twins. I know the one Armstrong twin. I think he wears number 73. He really struggled with Big Bertha, trying
Interesting.
to trying to get up to his form, and he was very coachable, But I tell you what, the most impressive guy to me on the offensive line was Josh Simmons, and that's just because the dude is just a freak of nature. Like he looks like he never missed a workout. And I know we're going to talk about this a little bit later. Not seeing his name on the list of the iron the
I love.
list, yeah, was kind of shocking. But hey, I mean, those are the other guys deserved it. And then Luke Montgomery really surprised me. I mean, excuse my language, he took Big Bertha and said, "Fuck you, Big Bertha," as he had, I wish I got great footage of that, but I was actually sending you the picture of Carson Hensman, who was right before him, who had great form as well. And but when Luke Montgomery put that thing up and threw it down, I was just like, this kid's going to be a monster. And I know he's a sophomore, but this offensive line is going to be very good this year.
It's crazy that that thing is 400 pounds.
Hey, Donovan Jackson said it was.
I mean, that's crazy because like the most heavy like offensive line or defensive lineman you're gonna block is like maybe 320, and that's
Yeah.
if they have like a Tyleek Williams on their team. Like it's insane that that thing's 400 pounds. I couldn't imagine like just continuously being able to toss that around. That just speaks to like how good these guys are. Um, what were your thoughts on Tegra? Do you think do you think he's going to be a starter? I mean, what are your thoughts on Tegra? Because I think he might be I think he should honestly maybe play a little tackle at times.
I think he's going to be the right guard.
Uh,
And this could be the instinct for next year, like where Josh and Josh leave, he could bust out to the outside.
I could see
Uh,
him. Yeah, I could definitely see
but
him being an outside guy
he
at some point.
physically, he is outside of Josh Simmons. Physically, he's the most fitted look. He looks like an NFL lineman, and I think him going to right guard is a testament. Yeah, he's challenging Carson Hensman, I believe, for that spot, but it is a testament to his freaking nature ability. A lot of what I've been hearing is all mental up in his head, like because it's like, can he do it? I think he is going to end up being the starting right guard, uh, but like I said, the interior is going to be loaded. You got Luke Montgomery, Seth McLaughlin, Carson Hensman, Austin Serafeld, and you have Tegra Shabola. I think that right there is a great nucleus to
I
really
mean,
get this offensive line going.
in a perfect world, I feel like Tegra wins the starting job and
Yeah,
like understands the playbook. And then I feel like Carson Hinsman would be the perfect spare. And I like if I know that's I feel like that's what's the term? It's it's painful to do, I guess.
yeah,
Like swallowing your pride, um, and not being a starter. But like I feel like if Hinsman was the spare, he could play both guard spots and center. So like I just feel like he would absolutely play a lot, and like I feel like he would be almost one of the most important guys on the line to maybe give a guy a blow here, there, or something, or like I don't know. I just feel like that might be something to consider.
yeah. I think what Coach Fry, and Chip Kelly, and Ryan Day are looking to do is solidify these guys. Who's going to be the ones and twos? Because they know this is going to be a grind of a season, and I really like this core. I really like this core, and I think they're going to compete for one of the best offensive line in the Big Ten and in the country.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. Um, quarterbacks. Let's talk some quarterbacks. Will Howard. I mean, how did he look throwing the ball live? Did it look effortless? Did it look on a motion? I guess on a throwing scale from Tate Martell to C.J. Stroud. What did he? What would you put him at?
He when he throws the ball, you we all watch the spring game, right? He throws the ball with a lot of confidence. He dropped a dime uh, to Will Kazmarek, which was surprised to see the football, which dropped he for a touchdown. He dropped David. Is it David Adolph? One of
Yeah,
the
about to
walk-on wide receivers, something like that. Dropped a wide open pass uh from Will Howard, and then Will Howard dropped a dime to Travion Henderson, and boy, Travion Henderson is just lightning in a bottle. But I thought he threw. If you look at the spring game compared to what I saw in practice, a lot of confidence in Will Howard. Now, did he have the best arm of the day? No, that goes to Julian Sayem. But when I went, Devin Brown kind of struggled a little bit. He threw a lot of balls in the coverage, but just what I hear and what I've listened to from multiple some sources, some podcasts. Will Howard is the front runner to win the job. I wouldn't be shocked by the end of the weekend he's named the starter, but they're all like it's a great problem to have because they all look really good.
My one biggest question is just like when it comes to arm strength, it do the Buckeyes have enough arm strength? Like can they make NFL throws, or like can they like, you know, get it
Yes,
50 yards on a dime?
you're not going to see the 60, you're not going to see the 55, 60-yard bombs like CJ Stroud. What you're going to see in Will Howard, I think, is a better throw passer version than JT Barrett, if that makes sense.
I
Somebody actually made a good point on one of the podcasts. I forget what podcast. I listened like 3 or 4. Said that Will Howard reminds you of like the size of Cardale, but the throwing and running ability of JT Barrett.
that would be very scary.
Now, Cardale, he's weight wise, he's smaller than Cardale. I just think when you look, they said picture the height of Cardale Jones
Well, yeah, Will Howard isn't
playing
small.
like JT Barrett.
He was like almost. I think they said
He's
he was.
6'5".
They said he was. I think he said he was like in his 250s, and now he's like in his 230s, which
He looks really good. And if you listen to his press conference yesterday, you could tell he sounds so confident. Like this dude sounds like a dude. Like he's grasping it. He's grasping everything that we need to know. Devin Brown looks good too. Just put it this way. Julian saying is a freshman. He's going to have his moments. There's going to be packages for him. I think people are like, "Oh, what about Aaron Nolan?" Aaron Nolan's going to sit back in redshirt this year. I think the big odd man out is Lincoln Keenholz. Lincoln Keenholz is that raw. He's probably the most athletic quarterback, but for me, he doesn't fit the Chip Kelly mold. If that makes sense. Like, yeah, you're like thinking, oh, this great athlete. Yeah, if if this was Urban Meyer's offense, oh, give me Lincoln Keenholz all day over all these guys, if that makes sense. But I think Will and Devin and Julian, they're going to play a lot, and this year, obviously, I think Will Howard is going to be the starter. But I think there's might be some packages for Julian saying. I definitely think there's going to be packages for Devin Brown as well.
I just want to add one thing about Will Howard, and you were making some great points. Just when it comes to his size, because I just want to come back to that. Cam Newton is 6'5", 245 pounds. Will Howard, and obviously weight and everything fluctuates, is listed as 6'5", 242 pounds right now. So basically, he's just Cam Newton with a 3 pound,
And Will
like
Howard can run 22 miles an hour.
like Cam Newton, maybe faster. So
Yeah. Yeah.
I like for me, the only thing I don't trust about Will Howard, literally the only thing I don't trust is this story I have here. It was really after we did like the gender reveal for Troy. I went to TJ Maxx with my buddy, with my wife and stuff, and I came back and like Kansas State was playing someone, and my one buddy Nick texted me. He's like, "Damn it, Will Howard's not gonna have me covered. Kansas State sold. Like Will Howard stinks." And I was just watching this game, and they lost, but like he put up a good fight. So that's the only like literally that's the only thing that like has me not trust Will Howard. Just like I watched that one game.
He he won a Big 12 championship, beat Texas at Texas. I think, like I told Blake, I think Will Howard needed Ryan Day more than Ryan Day needed Will Howard,
I like that.
if that makes sense.
I mean, I feel like Will Howard is definitely getting refined. I feel like
Oh,
honestly,
yeah.
Ryan Day, like now I'm thinking about it, like Will Howard, like his throwing motion, everything could improve too. Like I feel like Day's really gonna drill that down.
Oh, Chip Kelly's working with him great. So,
Um, the tight ends. Is G Scott the guy, you think?
it's G. Scott, it's Will Kazmarek, and it's Patrick Gerd.
I Gert's gonna
Jelani,
play a lot.
Jelani, they're all four going to play. But I think when it comes to it, Will Kazmarek is going to do the dirty work. There was times where you saw Travion or Quinshon in the back in the pistol formation with G. Scott as the fullback and Will Kazmarek and Patrick Gerd as the two tight ends on the field, and then you had Emeka and Carnell as the wide receivers. That formation was insane to me. Also, you saw in short yardage and goal line formations. I'm not going to say where they were lined up, but you had G. Scott and Travion and Will Howard in the backfield at the same time.
I like that. I like.
So
Go back to hold on. What was the first formation? It was
is the pistol veer where you had G. Scott was lined up next to Will Howard, and then Travion and Quinshon was right behind him, right behind Will Howard.
Oh, okay. Oh, so they had
It was
like
power run. It was just some power runs.
who was the fullback? Was it
G.
Judkins?
Scott.
G. Scott, and then
Wells Kazmarek was on the line.
are you saying like Trey and Judkins were rotating, or were they split?
Yeah, they were just rotating.
Gotcha. Okay, gotcha. Yeah, cool. I was trying to picture that. I'm like, so there's G, then they're both in the backfield. I'm like, that doesn't sound like the
Well,
best.
the last formation I had told you, Will Howard, G. Scott, Travion, and Quinshon were in the backfield together.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Okay.
So,
That's
wide receivers, they're all dogs, man. They're all dogs. But there is a drop off. You could tell there's a drop off once you get past Brandon Ennis. I thought Mylan Graham looked better than Kojo Antwi. I think Noah Rogers looked really good too. Because I'm not going to mention the other four because we know what the other four look like. Brandon Ennis, Jeremiah Smith.
Did Jaden Ballard do anything interesting?
He can stretch the field. But I will tell you, the four guys that were catching punts at the beginning of the practice was Jeremiah Smith. It was Emeka Ibuka, Carnell Tate, and Noah Rogers.
No Caleb.
No Caleb Downs.
Wow. What was interesting is we got asked this on Twitter when we posted the picture. They said, "Oh, who's like running the special teams?" And I texted you, and you're like, "Oh, I think it's a GA. It doesn't look like."
Yeah,
confirmed that wasn't like Matt Guerreri or anyone on stat. That was a GA. You think?
Well, let's put it this way: the punters and kickers, while every practice was going on, was into Woody working on their kicks and stuff. But they didn't really do any special teams periods.
Okay.
So
interesting.
But I don't know. The Aussie punter is huge.
He did look good.
Yeah. So, I mean, they look good. Defensively, I tell you what, Mitchell Melton, man.
Really? That's a name I haven't heard in a while, bro.
They had and I don't know if they're going to ever run this in a game, and I think they were just trying to see what the personnel was looking like. So picture this: they had
like this. I think I know where you're going, but
they had Jordan Hancock, Davidson Igbinosa, Denzel Burke, Caleb Downs, Lathan Ransom. Your five safeties, your five DBs. Your interior lineman was Tyleek Williams, JTT, and Jack Sawyer.
I love it already.
You had CJ Hicks on one side, Mitchell Melton on the other, and it was Cody Simon in the middle.
Was Melton to the strong side, I'm assuming? Or no?
I think so. It was on the far side of the field, but I know
I love that. Was Melton almost like a stand-up guy though, like an edge?
No, he was so Jack was inside. He was kind of playing that three technique. Mitchell Melton was still in hands in the dirt, but CJ Hicks was the stand-up.
Oh, okay. I really like that then.
And it was they called it the third and long period. So where the defense disguised in is third, yeah.
Could this be the start of Mitchell Melton becoming the guy for next? Like, could this because obviously JTT and Jack and people are gonna go. Like in Kenyatta and Caden, you would think
Oh, they
that,
they look good. There was no weakness on this defense. I'll tell you. Like, I mean, you would have to really go deep into the weakness in the defense, including Peyton Pierce and Garrett Stover and Arvell
but
Reese and the linebacker. It's so weird that think about what we have talked about all offseason: offensive line, linebackers. Those obviously still are our weaknesses, but there ain't much weaknesses on this football team.
I
Our
mean,
weakness will probably be punt returner because it's been since Jalen Marshall against Indiana since we had a punt return for a touchdown, which has been 10 seasons ago. And it's been since Jordan Hall in 2010 or 11 since we had a kickoff return for a touchdown. So if
I
we
mean,
want to talk about weakness, those are your weakness. Parker Fleming, who's no longer there, by the way.
I just feel like I'm so blessed because I've seen so many great things at Ohio State, bro. I've seen the Sugar Bowl with Zeke. I've seen a national championship. I've seen us beat Michigan, Penn State. But like the one thing I always love still is the fact that I saw the last punt return touchdown. Because it's been, dude, it's literally been like 10 years.
I've never
I was
seen
literally a
one.
sophomore in college when they played Indiana.
I've never seen one.
I saw it at the shoe, and it was like, it was pretty good. It was pretty sick. I'm not gonna lie. And he ran it back towards, I believe we were in the south end zone, like the big student section with Block O South, and like he ran it towards us, and we were like in the nosebleeds. And man, I just wish Jalen Marshall stayed another year too. That's a whole nother.
Still owes you $100.
Yeah, that too. That too.
But yeah, I think this football team is really going to be good. I can't wait to hear what more now that practice is going and going. Sounds like Cody Simon might be wearing the block O.
I would love that. And
I
honestly,
I think the players kind of leaked it out. So
visually it makes sense because he's 30. So just get rid of the 3.
yeah. So and they were talking about others, Jack Sawyer, Cody. I think Jack Sawyer and Cody Simon are the two. I just think what Cody Simon had to persevere. You know, he looked like crap in 2021, and completely turn around and be one of the vocal leaders on this football team is amazing. And I think this year, I know we had 3 captains last year. I think we're going to have 5 or 6 this year.
That's good. I mean, that says a lot about the team then. The team needs leadership, and that's important.
I think 3 offense and 3 defense, which 2 of them will be considered special teams or whatever.
I feel like Patrick Gurr is going to be a captain.
I think our offensive captains are going to be Emeka, Donovan Jackson, and Travion Henderson. And I think our defensive captains are going to be Jack Sawyer, Cody Simon, and probably Lathan Ransom or Denzel Burke.
I'm trying to think. Maybe Denzel. I could see it. I don't know. I really can't. Maybe not Denzel because I feel like Denzel talks too much smack. Unless they kind of want to feed off that.
I think Cody Simon and Jack Sawyer are locks.
Maybe Sonny.
Maybe. But I think Jack Sawyer and Cody Simon, like I said, are locks.
JTT. No. Or
Yeah, JTT. Yeah.
Tyleek should be a captain. Honestly.
There's so many guys.
I feel like Tyleek though the team like has a good pulse when he gets going. I feel like he can really. A lot of people get like the defense gets behind him. I feel like he would be a great.
Yeah. It's going to be interesting. I wonder. It should be next week or so when they name the captains. Hey, but my boy, who probably is going to work his way into this 3 rotation, lost his black stripe today. Jaylen McClain, man, that dude is a dog.
What do you think of him? How did he practice? Did you see him at practice at
dude,
all?
he stepped in front of he should have picked off a perfectly thrown Will Howard ball in the corner. It just Will kind of, I mean, I wouldn't say perfectly thrown. He kind of floated a little bit, but he just stepped in and could have picked it, but he didn't. Just as tenacious and the way he flies to the football, like not many of the guys got yaks off of him. So
Really?
he's going to be, I would say, him and Malik Hartford are going to compete for that second spot next year, beside Caleb Downs.
I mean, they'll probably both end up playing though a ton because
Oh
like
yeah,
Foles uses so many safeties.
Jermaine Matthews, him and Brandon Ennis were talking so much crap between each other.
I feel like Ennis was electric at practice.
Oh,
I feel like he's the guy who brings the juice on
you
like every
you know
play.
how Ryan Day said you feel Brandon Ennis when he plays? You actually do.
I honestly think they should make him a captain.
I think he's a punt returner.
I feel like he should be a captain. Like if because I feel like you got to have someone from like the sophomore group, so you have someone for next year or like someone in their class. I feel like he would be a good guy in like his class to be the captain.
That'd be rare. JT Barrett's the only one of the only 3-time captains in Ohio State history. So
Yeah. No, I'm just like I don't know. I feel like Ryan Day maybe needs to consider this. I don't know. We're just going off of how they practice though. We could be
yeah,
completely wrong.
yeah, it's gonna be fun. So,
What's not fun, Cass, is if you're a Michigan fan right now.
I
Um,
tell you what, I'm a Buckeye fan and I find it exhausting. Like it's a mess. And Harbaugh today came down. If he ever decides to come back to college, he can't be back for 4 years, and he will be suspended for a season. The day after saying that he never lies, cheats, or steals. So basically, he quoted Eddie Guerrero, rest in peace, Eddie Guerrero, WWE superstar, who said, "I lie, I cheat, and steal." But he counter quoted it and said, "I never lied, and I never cheat, and I never steal." Then they come back today, and the NCAA throws this clause on him and a 1-year suspension for lying about a cheeseburger. And the thing is, what happened today is not the Connor Stallion stuff.
it's not even the Blake Corum LLC. it's it's not even the freaking dude. There's like five. It's not even the FBI with the servers and the assistant. It's not even the fact that they had that one dude creeping at Walmart or whatever. Like it's a lot. Like like they got that for just a cheeseburger. They're so screwed.
It's going to be interesting to see what happens with Sharon Moore. And like these Michigan fans are saying, oh, the NCAA leaked this, blah, blah, blah. People are saying that Michigan leaked this.
I
And
that.
I believe it too. And here's my thought. There is no way. I think there is a very possibility. I'm not saying strong that Sharon Moore may never coach a game at Michigan. There, I
I mean, he deleted 52 text messages, it said. And I'm sorry, guys, but they gave Tressel all this stuff for not cooperating and lying. If you're just blatantly deleting the messages when you know there's about to be an investigation, that's the same thing. And
Tressel got fired and basically lost everything because he forgot to forward one email. Not because he lied to the FBI, Michigan.
Urban told Gene and did his job, and Gene just didn't do it. And then they blamed Urban. I just want to point that out. So, like, there's so much precedent set too with, like, I was just reading up on like Kentucky. They basically had some ineligible players from getting paid from work that they didn't do. And they had to vacate all these wins from 2021 to 2020. And that was nothing. That was like, what? They did what? I'm like, why
Yeah.
are you guys going after Kentucky? Louisville, they're like, look at the way their thing got vacated, their title. It was like they just found like there was mass corruption inside the program, which, hey, this is kind of similar with Michigan at this point, it feels like, because there's just like the corruption and
It,
cheating and all this stuff going on, and they got their stuff
it,
vacated.
and
I,
if you're, it's what's crazy is
that's
the only place in the country that doesn't think anything is wrong is Michigan. Every school, even like I've never seen Clemson and Ohio State fans locking it up and being friends.
Dude,
Like,
the Michigan State fans I love.
yeah,
They're
like
chilling with them. They're great.
the Bama fans, the Georgia fans, like,
Oh, dude, there's nothing better when a Georgia fan comes to the rescue in the mentions too, or like
what?
we had a Tennessee fan backing us up.
We know for a fact that they did not steal signs from TCU. We know that for a fact.
But we also know for a fact that Stallions was on that sideline. It's confirmed. Dude, I think though, I agree. I think they leaked it. Um, I also don't agree with Thamel's report
I don't either.
that saying the vacating's not happening. I just
No, I don't think
I just
anybody
don't
knows
believe
what's
that
going to
because
happen.
sorry, I just drank this I drank this sparkling iced tea and so my mouth is like all sugary. I don't think the Thamel report though. Um, I feel like that was leaked. And I feel like the NCAA, wherever they got that source, is lying because they want Michigan to like think that like, oh, you won't get your wins vacated and stuff. So then they might cooperate or like spill the beans a little more, and then the hammer comes down. Like I feel like the NCAA doesn't want to play their hand yet, if that makes sense. And you wouldn't. Why would you if it's just a criminal investigation? It's an ongoing investigation.
My question to Michigan fans, if you believe there was nothing to those text messages, then why did you delete them?
Why do you guys get so defensive?
Yeah, like why did Sharon Moore delete those text messages? Something obviously happened.
There's a billion things
You're
that
too blind to see this. My question is, if Michigan didn't win a national championship or beat Ohio State last year, what would their reaction be? And I love the fact that Buckeye fans and former players like Matt Finkins are bringing back old 2011 tweets from Michigan fans and Desmond Howard, where they said, "Lay the law on Ohio State, drop the hammer on Ohio State." I just love it because tattoos had nothing to do with what happened on the football field. People say, "Oh, well, recruiting has not." Well, recruiting has something to do with the football field.
yeah. So, okay, so I just want to point this out too. They basically said that Harbaugh recruited like with illegal tactics and everything. Like they obviously kind of
It
came
was a
down on him.
deadbeat. It was a dead period. COVID dead period.
They came out and down on him pretty hard with like the show clause and all that. Doesn't that mean that those players that he recruited, it's during COVID, so we know they were on the team this year because like they would just be like that would be senior class, I would believe, right, or like junior class right now. They're definitely major contributors.
2021 class.
Yeah.
So it would be
Ineligible players, like are they, like if they're ineligible
they'd
because
be
of that,
seniors. So it
yeah,
could have been Mason Graham.
if you did it, yeah, if you did it and like they should have been ineligible to play because they did that same thing that happened in Kentucky, literally.
Yeah. So the seniors on this, the
Okay.
4 year seniors on this football team, Michigan football team, were part of that 2020 COVID because they were the 2021 class, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just and I did little no investigating. That's just like pointing out fact. Like that's what I'm saying. There's so many like coincidences and like I just don't understand how you can like deny all this. One of these has to be like one of these has to stick. You know what I'm
So
saying?
we talk about how Joe Biden is the fall guy for the Democratic Party as president. Sharon Moore is the fall guy for the Michigan football program. Literally. Because he is literally going to take all the penalties because he's the head coach right now.
Does that make us like Peter Ducey or something? I we just asking all the questions here. Yeah, no, I mean he is I don't know if he is going to be the fall guy though. You know, it feels like maybe it could be Ward Manuel,
It could be.
but like I know they are all kind of mad at him. Um,
But Michigan's going to fight.
and then they're gonna hire Tom Brady.
Yeah, I doubt it.
Imagine.
Tom Brady's an NFL guy. Charles Woodson would be the guy they hire.
Coach Prime.
That dude might not even make it out of Colorado this year.
By the
Which,
way,
yeah, go ahead.
we got about a minute left. Did you see the edit on
It
Twitter
was
with
terrible.
the Colorado football? Just Shador throwing it, and then it got it like they tried to be so sly with that, and that would like the ball wasn't even near where he was
The
throwing.
ball wasn't near, and it wasn't sunny in the first video.
I love the new trend now, but like Arkansas clapped back and came out with one, and it just like the quarterback like spiking it into the ground, and then it like they pan it, it goes like 70 yards. Just some troll. Like I love when people do that. Like a couple teams were doing that, so just respect to those teams.
And I like the battle between Igbenogson and Jeremiah Smith. You saw the iron sharpens iron. I know the headline said Howard versus Jeremiah Smith, but I think it was Igbenogson versus Jeremiah Smith thing because both clips were a won and loss for Igbenogson.
Yeah, no, that definitely was totally. You're absolutely correct. Um, but that's all I got. So thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Bunch of Nuts podcast. I hope you liked Cass's camp thoughts and just us talking general, you know, smack about Michigan. But thank you so much. And as always, go Bucks.
Go Bucks.